Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Detroit for tonight's first national semifinal game between the Michigan State Spartans and the Connecticut Huskies. Now let's meet the starting lineups. Representing the Midwest Regional, they are the first school to play a Final Four in its home state in 15 years. Here are the Big Ten regular season champion Michigan State Spartans.
Welcome to the great state of Michigan, home of the mighty Spartans.
Why us? Because we're tough.
Tenacious. Fundamentally sound.
Because we're playing for more than just us.
Why us?
Love something called home court advantage.
We are Michigan State.
Starting tonight for the Michigan State Spartans at forward, a junior from Canton, Ohio, number 2, Raymar Morgan. At forward, a freshman from Euclid, Ohio, number 10, Delvon Rowe.
Get this shit.
At center, a senior from Lansing, Michigan, number 14, Goran Sutan. At guard, a sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 1, Kalen Lucas. At guard, a senior from Lima, Ohio, number 5, Travis Walton. And now, the school that won the 1999 and 2004 NCAA national championships. Then, as now, coming out of the West Regional, let's meet the UConn Huskies.
Listen close. You hear that? Did somebody say defense?
Hey, meet my main man.
Perseverance.
Intensity. Tradition.
We are UConn.
Starting tonight for the University of Connecticut Huskies at forward, a junior from Birmingham, Alabama, number 21, Stanley Robinson. At forward, a senior from Brookline, Massachusetts, number 4, Jeff Adrian. At center, a junior from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, number 34, Hashim Thabit.
Let's go.
At guard, a senior from Amityville, New York, number 12, A.J. Price.
Let's go, baby.
At guard, a senior from Stamford, Connecticut, number 24, Craig Austrie. And introducing the head coaches for Michigan State in his 14th season for the Spartans, Tom Izzo. And for Connecticut in his 23rd season for the Huskies, Jim Calhoun. Well, good pals right there, Clark, those two, Coach Izzo, Coach Calhoun. Coach Izzo's even stayed in his home before.
Yes,
he's come out to watch the Huskies practice a few years ago and stayed at the Calhoun house. And all 4 of these coaches that made it to Detroit, there's a great sense of conviviality amongst the 4 and deep respect.
Admiration, respect. We saw that on display Thursday night at the NCAA salute. They were terrific, the 4 coaches together on stage.
Well, Clark, here's the Michigan State road to. They went through Minneapolis with Robert Morris, the first victim, then USC. That was a thriller. And then on to Indianapolis, knocking out the defending champions. Came back from 13 down and then beat the overall #1 seed of the tournament, Louisville. Suton was the regional most outstanding player. Meanwhile, for UConn, the Huskies through Philadelphia first. Blowout win over Chattanooga without Coach Calhoun on the bench. He was sick. Then Texas A&M, and then on to Arizona. Took care of Purdue, team that won the Big Ten tournament, and then Missouri. 82-75, a feisty Missouri team that had quite a season under Coach Mike Anderson. Tonight's game is brought to you in HD TV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. UConn, the better seed overall in this tournament, gets to wear the home uniforms here, even though State is from only 92 miles away, down Interstate 96. And here we go. Thabit and Rowe are the two that are going to tip it off, and the Final Four is underway. And the ball slapped out. Went right off the hands of Robinson. And it belongs to Michigan State. A good play by Raymar Morgan to knock it off the Husky. What are you looking for here as far as pace and tempo, Clark?
I think Michigan State's going to look to run. It's a misnomer that they want to bump and grind. Michigan State will push the ball. They'll attack in transition. In the half court, they will run a lot of sets. The other thing I'm interested to see is how will UConn defend Goran Suton. Jeff Adrian starts out on him man-to-man.
Suton can hit that shot from the outside as he did last week. There's Lucas shaking free and hitting the first shot of the game. The Big Ten Player of the Year opens it up for the Spartans.
This will be a great matchup here. Travis Walton against A.J. Price.
Try to dump it inside, and Suton came in, knocked it out, preventing it from getting it inside to Thabit. So 5th Final Four for Michigan State in 11 years. Tom Izzo, again, you may have heard it, but every 4-year player he's ever coached has made it to the Final Four. And there is UConn slamming it down with Stanley Robinson.
Well, Jim Calhoun told us yesterday they were going to test Michigan State's inside defense by throwing the ball into the paint. And their first possession, they get a dunk for Stanley Robinson.
A senior defending on the sophomore, Lucas. Here's Suton, fakes the shot, he's looking for a little aid.
Now he had Stanley Robinson on him, so there was a switch that time.
Now it's Morgan, spin move, and rejection #1 by Thabit.
Jim, when he has time to size up the guy with the ball and come from the weak side, you can't get it to the rim. He's 7'3", has excellent timing, and that time just left his man and denied Morgan.
Suton scoots it over there to Rowe. Tries to give it back outside, 5 on the shot clock. And that's Morgan with 1 on the shot clock and gets the roll off the back of the rim.
That's a good sign for Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Raymar Morgan has battled injury and illness all season, has struggled in the tournament. But speaking to Tom Izzo before the game, he said it would be nice to get Raymar into double digits today. We're going to need that from him if we're going to beat Connecticut.
And a turnover as Robinson led Thabit a little too high, and that's something you see often out of the Huskies, trying to establish early, get it down inside. And the Spartans wise to that. They've knocked one pass out and this time forced the turnover. Now Rowe. Thabit waiting for him. And that is last touched by Adrian, they say, of Connecticut.
Well, how about Thabit showing you his agility that time? I mean, he left his feet and was able to come down without fouling. I think that's that soccer background, those excellent feet for the big fella.
How far he's come here under the tutelage of Calhoun. There's a three-point shot, and Lucas hits his first 2 from the outside. One's a 2, one's a 3.
We talked about it at the top, Jim. What to look for? Making good shots in the half court for Michigan State. They're off to a nice start right now.
And Connecticut right off the leg of Price, and they've turned it over the last 2 trips.
Well, you know, A.J. Price talked about how do we take the crowd out of the ball game. This is obviously a partisan Michigan State crowd here. You have to get off to a good start. So far, that's not been the case for Connecticut.
The largest deficit of the tournament. They'd only trailed by 2. Was the previous biggest deficit. That is Morgan. And Suton anticipates. Feeds it to Rowe, and he gets it up and over Adrian, and Michigan State is hitting its shots early. A 7-point run by the Spartans.
Look at that defense by Walton. He reached in and picked up the foul, but he was in excellent position with his feet and body.
First.
Look at Suton. Just pursue that orange. Keep it alive for a teammate. And Delvon Rowe knew exactly what to do with it.
Walton at this end committing the foul, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. And they're bringing in now Gavin Edwards for the Huskies. 6'9" junior from Gilbert, Arizona.
Let's see if UConn tries to isolate Price on a one-on-one here or pick and roll action. He's got a mismatch with Suton.
To shoot it over Suton. And Price, the outstanding player of the West Regional, hits the three. We got a Spartan shaken up. It's Walton.
Not sure what happened there, Jim. It looks like he may have tweaked a leg or ankle. Well, it seems like he's okay. The heart and soul of the Spartans team is that young man right there, Travis Walton. Demanded to defend Terrence Williams prior to the matchup with Louisville. Let's take a look. Gets bumped by Hashim Thabit. Oh, he just took him. I don't know. It may have gotten his foot stepped on.
Well, you know, Coach Calhoun, we met with him yesterday, said, you just run into Thabit. Sometimes you get punished, you just don't even realize how strong he is.
Oh, yeah. He's all muscle, man. All muscle, Jim.
Oh, no good. Rowe, though, with the rebound. Waiting, and those Thabit is there. So Lucas from the corner with a three, back of the rim. So Chris Allen put up one shot. He's in now for the Spartans, and there's a push-off call against Michigan State's Chris Allen.
Well, Michigan State has a little more depth than does UConn. Connecticut will play probably 7, maybe 7.5 guys. Tom Izzo will play 9, maybe 10 guys, and all will be close to double-digit minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays itself out here in tonight's ball game.
Second team foul on Michigan State. UConn yet to commit one, but have committed a number of turnovers.
He's so tough one-on-one. Misses that one, but he has a size advantage on Kalen Lucas, does Price.
That's Morgan getting fouled on the way up. It's on Edwards. This Michigan team, a lot of homegrown talent we're talking about here, Clark. And if they're not from Michigan, they have 9 on the roster from the home state. There are a number of others from just south of here down from the Buckeye State.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Izzo likes to keep it tight within a 4 or 5 hour driving radius.
Actually charged that last foul to Austrie, not Edwards. And one more coming for Raymar Morgan, who's playing with that protective mask. Marquise Gray gave him some good minutes, the senior from Flint, in for Michigan. But Morgan was hit by his own teammate, hit by Delvon Rowe in the game against Kansas. He had some sight issues with the face mask against Louisville and went the second half without it. This week got one custom made, able to see clearly on the second one, make it a 10-5 Michigan State lead. That's Adrian.
You love that jump hook over his left shoulder, Jim. You can't let him get to that spot if you're defending him for Michigan State. You've got to force him to a secondary move, not his primary shot.
There's another block. This one by Adrian. Austria had the hot hand out west. Gives it up to Adrian. Short this time. And out on a 3-1 break. It's Michigan State. Over to Morgan. Boy, they all three touched it, too.
And it's a terrific start for Raymar Morgan. He's got 5 of the 12 already. Just what Tom Izzo was hoping to see from his junior forward.
That's Robinson trying the three-point shot and buries it. Robinson. Not seeing too many issues here early with the depth perception, Clark, are we?
Not at all. These teams are locked in and focused and off to a strong start both ways.
Some thought the sightlines might be a concern with this being the first time the Final Four was played.
I count you as one of those guys.
I was concerned about it, but there is a perfectly executed pass, Morgan to Gray. And the Spartans have hit 6 of their first 11 from the floor.
I tell you what, for as large as this is, over 70,000 people in here, it's about as intimate as you can be in this kind of a setting. I think the players are enjoying it. It looks like they're not having any problem finding their mark.
That's Adrian. And that's going to be a foul against Gray. We're going to take our first break of the game. Morgan and Lucas with 5 points each. Michigan State up 4. Jim Nance with Clark Kellogg back at the Final Four. 2 Big East schools in the Final Four. Would have been 3 at Michigan State not defeated Louisville last week, but we'll see Villanova and North Carolina in game 2 here. But they knew since back in 2003 this was going to be the Final Four site. It's when it was awarded to Detroit. Tom Izzo's had it on his mind for 6 years. It was a goal he carried with him, told very few people about it. But before their first practice, in their first meeting, he wrote it on the blackboard and never mentioned it again the rest of the year, that was the desired destination until right before the Louisville game. So guys, we have an opportunity of a lifetime. 1 game away. They're here now. This is Robinson taking the inbounds pass and drawing the 4th foul now against Michigan State. And this one is on Draymond Green.
Well, you can see Jim Calhoun has not deviated from his game plan coming in, which is to establish the Huskies inside. He thinks they have an advantage in there with Thabit, Adrian, and Stanley Robinson. And you talk about Stanley Robinson, Jim. He has been fantastic during the tournament. 15 points a game, close to 60% shooting from the field, 7 rebounds a game, and he's blocked 6 shots total.
No, he hits them both. He's got 7 of the Huskies' 12.
And I think I think he's really an X factor, Jim, because he's so versatile defensively. He can guard a number of positions because of his athleticism and shot blocking ability. He's excellent on the offensive glass, and he's really gained confidence in his offensive game as well.
Summers in the game now for Michigan State. He too had a big regional out in Indianapolis to help the Spartans. That's Lucius, and it rims out. Comes right back out though to Summers in a reset.
It's the 4th offensive rebound for Michigan State. They're winning that battle right now, which is a mild surprise. Connecticut, a strong rebounding team.
Now they use a lot of players. They got 5 subs on the floor right now, including Edong Ebok, number 00. This is Summers taking the shot, too strong. Long rebound though. Ebok tried to save it. And flying through is Walker. Talk about an X factor for UConn last week. Kemba Walker, the freshman.
Yeah, he's got tremendous speed, Jim. You saw evidence of it right there and getting to that loose ball.
That's Ebok on the back of Thabit.
Fouls becoming an issue now for Michigan State. And that's part of the reason you want to go inside if you're Connecticut. Excellent work by Ebok Edong. But Kemba Walker was there to take advantage of it. You can see the floor elevated here. Ebok almost joined us.
I see did.
Yeah, he did.
Would have been a big drop for the big man from Lagos, Nigeria, 6'11" senior, who when they have matchups like they have today against Thabit, he'll see action. And he's down there pushing around at the moment, manning up on Adrian.
Now they're going to try to
switch it over now.
Draymond Green didn't want to have to deal with the 7-3 Thabit. Good move.
Adrian likes this shot. He's hit it for the 2nd time in the game.
He loves that shot. That's dessert for him.
So the Huskies have worked their way back from an early 7-point deficit to tie it at 14. Fade away, and that's a block by Adrian, his 2nd. Here's Walker racing to the rim and putting it up, and the Huskies have their first lead.
He is jet quick, and you saw it there. Boy, when he gets ahead of steam, it's hard to stay in front of him. And Connecticut has methodically gotten the ball inside, picked up its defense now. You saw Stanley Robinson's versatility defensively as he was on a guard that time to trigger that fast break.
That is Lucius, and the freshman gets the graceful bounce. Freshman from Milwaukee.
Boy, this is where UConn really looks to isolate Kemba Walker and run a lot of pick and roll action to try to get him into the lane.
They got the pass inside. They fed it. And Ebok on the foul. They're going to count the basket as the beat hits the floor hard. Second foul on Ebok. Basket counts.
Kemba Walker with a beautiful pass, perfectly leading Hashim Thabit, who had his defender on the high side. Ebok was on the top side, and that opened up the backside pass. And Kemba Walker, we talk about his speed and getting to the rim, but he's been excellent finding teammates as well and pounding that ball inside. There you see the free throw differential for UConn. How about that? Plus 59 makes.
Well, they get Suton and Lucas back on the floor. You notice that Walton, since he was shaken up, has not been back out there for Michigan State. And they led when he was out there. Now he's in. Here he comes. Travis Walton right back out. Edwards, too, for UConn returns. So Thabit to the bench. He became a 1,000-point career man in the Sweet 16 round against Purdue, giving UConn 4 current members in the 1,000-point club. First time they've ever had that situation in their history, having 4 on the same squad. This is Rowe. Tough shot, and Edwards sweeps for Connecticut. A.J. Price. There are family ties to the Final Four. His dad was competing in one 30 years ago for Penn, also against Michigan State, oddly enough. So UConn on a 12-4 stretch. Jeff Adrian a big part of it. They've hit 6 out of 8 from the field, and now they lead. What do you see here, Clark Kellogg? Early indications?
Yeah, I see drive-in dining, sit-down dining versus drive-through dining for UConn. They're going right inside, Jim. Jim Calhoun felt that his team had an advantage up front with Robinson, Adrian, and Thabit, and they're actually playing to that strength right now. Michigan State has to adjust in how they're defending inside. They've got to body up, not allow Adrian, Thabit, and Robinson to catch that ball in their sweet spots.
See Coach Calhoun prancing along the floor here. He was a little concerned about how this would work. He's got a little stool up above the bench area because this is out of the ordinary here, where the bench area is like a dugout formation, if you will. Although Michigan State sees it, Tom Izzo sees it when they play inside the Big Ten at Williams Arena there at Minnesota.
Yep. That floor elevated as well.
Jim talked a lot with us yesterday about how I'm not sure how this is going to work.
right. He was a little worried about it.
4 on the shot clock, and it's taken away by Lucas. Suton fakes the shot, takes it inside, whips it over. Passed up on a clean shot, so it's a turnover going back to the Huskies, who have had a couple of blocks here, one by Thabit and a couple by Adrian.
So there's Thabit denying Raymar Morgan. And then Jeff Adrian. This is one of the nation's best shot blocking teams every year because they have a number of guys that can block shots. Obviously, the focal point is Thabit. He blocks almost 5 a game, but Robinson can throw it back at you, as can Adrian.
That's Walker feeding the post with the left hand. No, Adrian able to push off Rowe. He just out-muscled the freshman and got the offensive rebound and put back.
UConn starting to bully Michigan State inside a little bit.
Yeah, you saw it there. Summers somehow maintains his dribble. We're talking about this being one of the best shot blocking teams. Have actually led the country in that category. Block shots for 7 consecutive years.
Well, to stymie this run, Michigan State has to execute and be ready to take the good shots that are available. You made the point. Suton passed up a good shot on the last trip. That's a good look there.
That's Summers, no. And it bounces long to Price.
Well, Connecticut with this run and surge has effectively muted the partisan Spartans crowd here.
And they're shooting 73%. Midway first half as Price challenges Walton, and Suton says we can do that too. Somehow getting to his feet though. Price alertly got the rebound. Puts up the next shot. And Michigan State now with a little aggression, bringing it up the floor. Walton banging home at 2. Travis Walton showing some outside game in this NCAA tournament.
Yeah, he worked extremely hard over the summer, Jim, on his shot and brings that confidence to the court more consistently now.
Look at Adrian muscling his way for 2 more.
Well, that's the difference between a senior in Adrian and a freshman in Delvon Rowe. Delvon is going to be capable of handling Adrian, in time. He's battled 2 knee surgeries in the last 18 months, and right now, Adrian having his way with him inside.
Summers comes out, Morgan back in, and what about the coaches up and down? And, well, Calhoun and Izzo both really spending most of the time removed from that lowered bench. Staying on the court, and there's Lucas. Hitting a 3 there, and they needed it, Michigan State. At 23-21, UConn.
Draymond Green, another freshman in, trying to wrestle with Jeff Adrian inside.
Adrian turnaround shot to beat, and he's fouled. To be a 1-1 coming up. Near the end of this game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Learn more about Chevy innovations at Chevy.com. That's the second foul on Draymond Green, and Thabit will have a 1-1. Second team All-America in the Big East. Defensive player of the year for the second straight year, as well as this year sharing the Big East Player of the Year honors with DeJuan Blair from Pittsburgh. As you see Chris Allen returning to the Michigan State lineup. Constant shuttle from that Michigan State side.
And part of the reason Tom Izzo uses the bench is because he wants to keep guys fresh, but I think he wants the pace to be a little faster, particularly because Connecticut is much stronger and bigger up front. And a half-court game, I think, favors UConn. Michigan State has to be quick hitting in its attack just like that.
That was Walton snapping that pass over to Morgan, who hits the open shot. And now it's just a 1-point lead. Raymar Morgan hitting 3 of his first 5. It's Walker in the lane. And it's Morgan creating havoc. Up ahead, Allen. Walton says, give it to me, and he's blowing past Robinson, and the tip, no. And Adrian swinging those arms, and it's back to UConn. Quick dump inside, Thabit, yes, +1.
Boy, that is an outstanding play by the UConn Huskies. Jeff Adrian going to come up with this rebound at the defensive end, and he doesn't want any Spartans near him. So he swings, and no problem there. And then at the other end, I think it was Adrian who made the high-low pass, but Thabit getting in position. We call that in basketball jargon rim running right down the middle of the floor and establishing strong post-up position in front of the rim, and an excellent pass by Jeff Adrian to give Thabit that look at in the paint area.
That was the first foul on Sutan. 8-1 team fouls so far, but 6 of the 8 fouls called on the Spartans are from bench players.
And all of those fouls have been inside, where UConn is really trying to throw that ball on a regular basis. In the paint, attacking the rim inside. Both teams have been all man-to-man defensively.
That's Allen. I saw right there Thabit. That was all influenced by the 7-3 center of UConn. Breaking the action here in Detroit. Ball is coming inbounds for UConn with 7:45 to go. First half gymnasts with Clark Kellogg. We saw an early 5-point lead. Or 7-point lead by Michigan State. UConn's biggest lead, 5.
Well, Michigan State got off to the good start, made some shots, got some offensive rebounds. UConn is methodically taking advantage of its strength and experience inside. Michigan State has to try to speed this game up with defensive pressure and forcing turnovers.
That's a traveling violation on Adrian. 5th turnover against the Huskies. They had some early ones, then settled down.
I think that's just what Jim Calhoun is telling the guys on the bench. We just need to make sure we settle down. I'm going to try to speed us up. Let's just run our stuff and get it inside.
Summers right back to Morgan. Well executed by Michigan State. 9 for Morgan. Waiting for it. It's Austria with the 3. Follows it up. But has it stripped. But it's off the hands of Lucas.
Well, what a start for Raymar Morgan. I mentioned how Tom Izzo felt like he was ready to have a strong game today, and it would be much needed as Gavin Edwards checks in for UConn. Jeff Adrian, who has been an absolute beast inside, takes a rest here. You see the substitution pattern. No surprise there. Michigan State plays 10, sometimes 11 guys, and that could help Michigan State if they can speed up the pace of the game.
Well, that was Suton standing his ground, but his pass almost picked by Price.
Nice.
All set up for this one. No, by Summers. Couldn't ask for a better look.
You're right, partner, and that's what Michigan State has to do. Try to attack Connecticut in the open court in transition so you don't have to deal with their shot blocking prowess in the half court. And you see UConn on the other hand, they don't mind running, but if it's not there clearly, they're going to run their half court offense and try to get it inside off the dribble or with the post feed.
That is Price, and it rattles in. A.J. Price. Oh, look at UConn at the other end. Try to save it. Stays with the Spartans.
Well, that was terrific work. There you see Jim Calhoun giving a slap on the backside to Gavin Edwards, who made an excellent effort to get back in transition and block that initial shot. Goran Suton is yet to find any kind of operating room, Jim.
That's Lucas with the screen. Summers way up for it.
Terrell Summers.
He not only climbed, he seemed to stay there for a while.
He sure did. Man.
I thought maybe he jumped a little too early, but then he just kind of paused the...
He levitated,
he
man.
paused the DVR for a moment.
Yes, he did. Wow.
That's A.J. Price's first. There, he just kind of hung out there for a while.
Sure did. Trampoline, young fella.
And saved the possession for Michigan State.
That's the 5th offensive rebound for Michigan State. They haven't capitalized as well the last couple. There you see the foul story. UConn winning the free throw game just by a slight margin.
That was only their 2nd team foul. Allen, short. Robinson.
Boy, Connecticut does a nice job challenging the perimeter jump shot, Jim. Their length, the length of the Huskies allows them to get a hand up on shooters, and those contested shots are tough to knock down even for good shooters.
And Price. Long rebound to Suton. Pushing it up is Lucas. And swings it over for Morgan. And 2 more for Raymar Morgan, who leads the way with 11.
Michigan State has to play this game on rollerblades. They can't play it in tennis shoes. They've got to speed it up and ramp it up.
Sure looked like Kalen Lucas was on rollerblades. Setting that up. It's the beat. Back of the rim, and Morgan clears, and Michigan State can tie it with a 2. Can take the lead with a 3. And that's Edwards. He wasn't going to let Summers jump over him this time. He boxed him out. Now Price penetrating and lost the handle. Reach in on Robinson of UConn. His first 3rd team foul.
How about speeding it up?
How about some roller skates for the coach? Here.
That's awesome. Izzo trying to get in on that fast break.
And Allen knows he had a great look there. They're not hitting their outside shots that effectively. 2 out of 8, and Allen is personally 0 for 5. And those threes they've attempted have been at times wide open. Suton. Adrian defending Suton. Too strong.
That was the first field goal attempt for Goran Suton, and he just picked up a foul as Kemba Walker
It'll be a second.
Gets himself to the rim that time.
Number 2 on Sutan, and we want to tell you about Masters Live. It's streaming next week. Exclusive video of Amen Corner Live, plus coverage of the 15th and 16th holes live, plus Masters Extra, showing bonus coverage of the entire field at CBSSports.com and Masters.com. There's a young man from Michigan State actually going to be the first ever to represent Michigan State in the Masters field next week. Jack Newman, who won the U.S. Public Links. We wish him well. There'll be a few other guys, not only Jack Newman, but Greg Norman. I was looking forward to seeing him back. Tiger, Phil, and all the usual suspects for that tradition unlike any other next week. One more coming up for Walker. What a spark plug he's been.
Oh, man, he is a jet. And he misses both free throws. He's an excellent free throw shooter. Left 2 at the line that time.
Roy Lucius back on the floor. Gives it back over to Lucas, who puts up the floater short. Tipped out and snagged by Rowe. Here's a 3 for the lead. No. And that's Robinson jockeying for position. Up ahead to Edwards. Oh, it's way too high. But last touch by UConn. So the action, that's pretty impressive.
Fast and furious. Both ways. The Huskies have dominated points in the paint, but Michigan State can show you how to get some as well. Take a look at this nice little screen here. The ball's going to be dribbled here. Then the screener, Raymar Morgan, going to slip right to the goal and get one right at the rim. Screen, slip, finish. Mark it up. Well done, Spartans.
Well, the Spartans have had a couple of shots here now to move ahead, but they've only made one basket in the last 5 minutes. It's going to be Michigan State ball here with 3:36 to go in the half. A good half of action it's been here at Ford Field. It is quite a sight here.
Oh, man.
Unlike anything we've ever seen at a Final Four before. 72,000 expected, an all-time record at the Final Four. That's Lucius. Another 3.
Boy, Michigan State needs some of those to fall in the half court. We talked about it at the top. When they're executing in the half court, they've got to make some perimeter shots. Only 2 of 10 from behind the arc. And you made the point a while ago, Jim. A number of those 3-point shots have been good looks for Michigan State.
Adrian looking for help.
Oh, they got Stanley Robinson with the chicken wing.
Yeah,
the chicken wing up about chest high.
That is his second. Team foul number 4, and coming up on AT&T at the half, Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, and Seth Davis. Going to break down the first half, plus the awarding of the Player of the Year and Coach of the Year, and an AT&T Naismith Watch update. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. There's Craig Austrie back on the floor, a senior from Stanford, who led them in scoring in the Sweet 16 win over Purdue with 17 points. That's Lucius, another good look, and this time they knock it down and they have the lead back at 30-29. Lucius off the bench with 5.
Well, that's terrific execution there. Just a little downstream for Lucius, and he knocked down the open shot. Now UConn has to get back to getting that ball inside.
Adrian heeds that call, and he draws the foul against Michigan State, and that's the 10th team foul. So 2 shots the rest of the half for UConn. That's on Raymar Morgan, only his first. You saw Adrian earlier feed the post. There's Morgan, who's having a big night here. Just unhappy, though, with that foul call. Adrian setting up the beat. Those two both average double-doubles on the season. Got one more coming. And the only Division I team, UConn, in the whole country with 2 players who average double-doubles.
Yes,
points and rebounds.
Special, yeah. And Jeff Adrian has gone over 1,500 points and 1,000 rebounds. Very few players in college basketball have managed to accomplish that double-double. He's strong, he's aggressive, and he's not a very good free throw shooter.
Well, UConn as a team now has missed its last 4.
So the foul situation, and there's a foul on Kemba Walker, and Corey Lucius may have been shooting three. We'll see. But the point I was about to make is the foul situation for Michigan State, other than individuals accumulating fouls, it hasn't cost them too much at the line. And it appeared from that angle that it was a three-point shot. Without
Definitely.
question.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be shooting three at the line after just knocking down one on the last trip down the floor.
Yeah, I could have got one of my shoes between his, his toe and the three-point line on that one.
I'm not so sure. But Lucius smoothly hits the first. Well, UConn had that momentum going after a sluggish start, and Michigan State's regained it. What's happened here?
Defensively, they've been more aggressive. They forced some turnovers, and then they pushed that ball up ahead quickly and got some good shots. And this guy at the foul line, Corey Lucius, has provided a nice push off the bench.
And we know one Michigan State alum who's loving it. Magic, what support he gives this team. He spoke to the team yesterday. Gave him big talk.
That was his wife Cookie there to the left. And looked like Mr. Irvin Johnson Sr. as well.
Last 6 points by the Spartans, Corey Lucius. And they lead at the 2-minute mark.
Critical juncture here for Connecticut. They've got to get a good half-court possession.
Price blocked by Rowe. Adrian. Oh, and look out.
Watch out now. Back up, guys. Back up. Just a clean, hard foul. Nothing malicious. A little frustration here, I think, from UConn.
Well, there was no indication that tempers were ever at this point.
Right.
Jim Calhoun's come all the way down to the free throw line opposite his bench to pull his players away.
And I think he's wondering what was the fracas about. I mean, it was just a foul. Adrian got his arm. Let's take a look. Penetration, scrum, block shot, foul. Oh, okay, I see. Travis Walton took exception to hitting the deck. He thought Adrian may have given him an extra shove. Let's take a look at it again. Foul, push, and yeah, Adrian was trying to throw him off.
Well, we did show earlier how Adrian's been down there playing with tremendous aggression, swinging the arms, all legal.
Yeah.
That time, though, it certainly was a little over the top.
Yeah, a little extra.
The officials are over at the monitor right now to see who exactly was in the middle of that fracas. That's the second foul on Travis Walton. And these officials, John Cowell working his 8th Final Four, Leslie Jones his first, and Michael Stewart his second. They're going to take a look at this right here.
See, I think a good, clean, hard foul. And nothing happened other than the scrum afterwards. Marquise Gray gets tangled up. Hashim looking to protect Adrian. Little jaw-jacking going on. But that's a foul. A little extra pushing. As you see Adrian trying to swing, but he makes no contact. Walton was upset because he took a hard shot as he committed the foul. And both teams really competitive. I don't think there's much there, Jim.
What in a situation like this are they exactly looking for?
Well, they're trying to see if there was anything flagrant, any elbows thrown, any punch thrown, and I don't see any of that. They're a little extra, but other than that, I can't discern anything that would warrant more than what's already been called.
John Cowell, who again working his 8th Final Four, is explaining things to Coach Calhoun.
Well, it's a physical game, and it has been. And you're right, Jeff. Adrian is a guy who uses all of that strength of his to gain an advantage. But again, I couldn't see anything other than just a hard, tough play that got a tad out of hand, but nothing that would merit or warrant further penalties.
Well, remember the foul call went against Walton.
Yeah.
So that's his second.
There's a bunch. Twos are wild in the personal foul column of the Spartans. I mean, there's a bunch of guys with a pair, which could bode well for Connecticut in the second half. Michigan State's going to have to tighten that up to defend without fouling going forward.
Yeah, you got Ebok with 2, Walton with 2, Suton with 2, and Draymond Green with 2.
Yeah, those are. Ebok is the one guy who won't play significant minutes, but in a matchup like this, he might get another opportunity on the court in the second half.
Adrian to shoot 2. So they looked at the replay and came away with nothing else added to it.
Right.
Just the foul on Walton.
And hopefully the players will continue to compete hard and well, and there won't be anything close to that happening again. Tough physical basketball. You've got to expect it, and you've got to deal with it with composure.
This is going to be on Walker now. A hold on Walker trying to defend Lucas.
Now what happens, though, sometimes you have a situation like that, and the officials may overreact in trying to make sure they get their arms around it so it doesn't escalate.
That was the second on Walker and just the 6th team foul. So Donnell Beverly comes in, sophomore from Hawthorne, California, replacing Kemba Walker. And one more foul will put Michigan State in the 1-1. And Lucius, who's had the hot hand and continues to. What a story developing here by the freshman from Michigan State with 11 points. Averages only 3 a game. He's lighting it up, and his smile is too. Trying to defend on Price, who quiets things down with that shot.
A.J. Price is so good at taking advantage of the size differential between he and most point guards that guard him, especially Corey Lucius, giving up about 3 inches to Price.
Lucius went in there and again saw the big man Thabit and brought it back out. Strip, Price, Gray able to get it back. Lucius over Thabit, no. And Gray, no, it's Price comes out with it. Took it right out of his hands. It's Austri, feeds it. Thabit, yes,
How about the
and
big
one.
fella? How about the big fella? Agility, running the floor, and then finishing. What a play by the 7'3" Hasheem Thabit. Go get it, big fella, and dance to the rack.
Second foul on Morgan. Thabit can tie it at the line. Nice feed, too, by Austri. Darrell Summers coming back out for the Spartans with 41 seconds to go in the half.
Pretty big turnaround here, Jim. Momentum all in Michigan State's favor, and here come the Huskies again to tie it up.
41 seconds. How deep will they run it down here with a 6-second differential?
I think they'll take it to wherever they need to get a good shot.
Okay. Timeout, Spartans. With 17 on the shot clock, with the game tied at 36. National semifinal number 1. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg back here in Detroit, all tied at 36. Hasheem Thabit, his mother has come over to see him play from Tanzania. There she is, Rukia Manka, his mother. His father passed away when Hasheem was 15. His father was educated at Oxford and had an architectural degree. His mother hasn't had a chance to see him play many times in college, and he's tickled to death to have her here.
He sure is.
From Tanzania. Now, with 12 on the shot clock.
Penetration here, pick and roll, try to put it in Lucas's hand so he can penetrate and create for somebody else. The hot hand right there.
Not this time for Lucius. Rowe, though, and get the last shot for the Spartans. Pivoting and putting it up and in to give Michigan State the lead at halftime. Delvon Rowe waited patiently. The freshman, only freshman starter at this year's Final Four.
Good work by Delvon Rowe, just pursuing that pumpkin. And then he had the presence of mind to maintain his balance, show the ball up and under. And by the time UConn got it back, it was too late.
Wonderful first half of action here at Ford Field. 38-36, Michigan State. A couple of freshmen starring. Rowe gets the basket for the lead right before the half, and Corey Lucius lighting it up. Physical play, too, here. Jimnance Clark Kellogg, and what a first half it was, Clark.
Oh, it was very entertaining, very hard and spirited in terms of how both teams came out and played. UConn early on dominating action inside, but look at the activity. Nothing easy, everything hard-earned. This led to a bit of a scrum, but nothing came of it other than a couple of free throws. But the story, Lucius lighting it up off the bench, knocking down some timely threes. But Goran Sutan, who has been the story of the tournament for Michigan State thus far, only took one shot and did not make it. He'll need to get going a little bit in the second half, but Michigan State able to overcome his lack of production by simply finding more points from Morgan and Corey Lucius.
Well, here's the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports Network. Cable's home for NCAA March Madness, and Lucius with the 11 points, 9 of which came in a span of a minute and 16 seconds late in the half. And Raymar Morgan with 11 as well. There's your center comparison.
Well, Thabit getting the best of that matchup, but he's taken 5 more shot attempts, has yet to commit a foul. Sutan has done a decent job on the boards with 4, but his teammates have been able to pick up the slack. Raymar Morgan, we talked about him at the top, how Tom Izzo felt he needed to produce in double digits. He's done that. Lucius has been a surprise. He's capable. He's had moments, but he was terrific in that first half off the bench. Now for Connecticut, they've got to eliminate the turnovers. 8 turnovers in that first half is way too many. They shot over 50% from the floor, Jim, when they took care of the ball and got it inside.
That's Adrian's favorite shot, and gets the dead ball off the back of the rim.
Just like that.
Adrian's first basket since 9:35 was on the clock first half. Adrian got off to a good start here. He has 12 points overall, and Lucas trying to bounce it over, and that was sloppy. It was Austria who got a hand on it. Bring it back to the Huskies, and Price lays it up at the other end. UConn back up by 2. Walton snaps it to Rowe, back to Walton, short shot, no. Tipped over to Robinson.
One of the things I think UConn has to do, in addition to taking better care of the basketball and rebounding their defensive board, is push the pace a little more. They were too content, I thought, in that first half to kind of walk it up in an effort to get it inside. You can get it inside when you push it up quickly, just like they did there with the beat right in the middle of the lane.
Yeah, they've done that here in the first minute of the second half, scoring 6 quick ones before committing a foul at this end. Robinson's 3rd for the Huskies.
That's a big one. They don't have nearly as much depth, although on the front line, Gavin Edwards usually comes in, but it's going to be Kemba Walker.
They'll go smaller with Walker.
Yeah. He had a tough first half, 3 turnovers and only 2 points for the scintillating freshman.
Morgan, he banks it home. First points of the second half for the Spartans. Raymar Morgan leading their cause with 13. The beat has the position, they bounce it in. Work it right back to him. Sutan on his back. Big man takes the left-handed shot and has the soft touch for 2 more. 14 now for Thabit, as Lucas finds an unblocked path to the basket.
Well, Kemba Walker fell down, Jim, and Lucas took full advantage of it. Took the ball right from one end to the other. UConn's help defense non-existent that time.
They keep feeding it as Thabit has the position, but wildly put up that one. Rowe with the rebound.
5-on-4 if they get it up quickly.
Sutan calling for it. Adrian behind him, and it's going against Sutan. That's a big call. That's number 3.
This is not the strength of Sutan's game. He's got good position here, but he's trying to muscle in against Jeff Adrian, who did a nice job anticipating the move. A little bit of an acting job there, but he was clearly hit right in the chest. Sutan is much better facing the basket. He can post up, but his strength is moving and facing the basket for the perimeter shot.
Price, tough shot. And the second bounce off the rim allowed Thabit time to get it back. Blocked by Rowe, and it looked clean, but they call a foul. Thursday on CBS, beware, folks, there's a killer among the wedding guests. The mystery event, Harper's Island. It premieres Thursday on CBS after CSI on America's Most Watched Network. It's a first on Rowe. Walker was shooting, so a pair coming up. He missed 2 of 2 in the first half.
I wonder how long Tom Izzo is going to allow as he misses his third. You never know how a freshman's going to handle this stage. Walker was fantastic in the regional final win, knocking down free throws. There you see his numbers, 23 points. I think he made 9 of 10 free throws in that game. Has struggled here today. And Sutan is out there with 3 fouls. It looks like Idong Ibak is going to come in.
Yep, he's checking in. And Walker 0 for 4 from the line tonight.
And Jim, he's typically close to an 80% free throw shooter as Kemba Walker, actually 75% on the year.
Here's Sutan, and he's got his first basket of the night. Goran Sutan. But he's also got 3 fouls and is about to sit.
No, I don't know. I think they moved him back to the bench.
Well, he's still sitting up above.
Oh, you think he's going to come in?
There's Price.
He's not at the scorer's table, though,
He
Jim.
went down there and was summoned back by Izzo to the bench area. Here's Lucas with the jumper. Yes. And Michigan State, they saw the first 6 of the half go to UConn, but they come storming back with a 6-point run of their own to lead by 2. A big body in there who they know is not going to give them many minutes, but a chance to push aside a little bit against the beat. And how did Michigan State just turn it right back around again in their favor?
Quick hitting offense, Jim. That was the story. Lucas got a couple of opportunities. Even after UConn had scored, they pushed the ball up quickly and get high-quality shots in their early offense. We've talked about that throughout the game today. That's one of the things Tom Izzo told me they were going to do. They weren't going to walk it up. They were going to try to play a fast-paced game, and they need perimeter shots to go down, and they're winning the three-point battle. They've made 4. UConn has only made 2 to this point. Boy, they're really battling inside. Look at Rowe and Jeff Adrian.
Walker trying to weave past Lucas. No go. Adrian to Price. Back and forth they go. Adrian wants it. Over the freshman and unable to get it. Ebon with a nice sweep with a rebound. On the wing, Morgan gets it back out to their leader Lucas out there. And Walton, talk about leadership.
He's outstanding in that area. Tremendous heart, passion, and maturity.
Lucas got stuck. Pass up ahead. Austri, uncontested, to tie the game at 46.
Already Michigan State has had a few turnovers this half, Jim. That's been a problem through the regular season for Michigan State. Turning the ball over. There you see the numbers right there.
Tough shot at Lucas.
You're right.
Morgan, big effort, hits the floor. And it's foul call against UConn. It's on Thabit. Just his first. Michigan State trying to stay in the is zone. The entire game has been played within a 12-point window, if you will. Michigan State had an early 7-point lead. UConn at one time ran it up to a 5-point advantage on their side. Morgan at the line right now to shoot 2 for the Spartans. He was fouled by Thabit on a putback attempt. He has given this team quite a jolt here today as Raymar Morgan.
Well, Jim, early in the season before he got ill, he was playing at a really high level. I mean, an all Big Ten caliber level. He had walking pneumonia, mono, had an ankle injury, and is just now starting to round in the form. You saw the contrast between today's numbers and his prior tournament game efforts. And he looks like the Raymar Morgan of the first quarter of the season here tonight.
This is Price.
Tough shot again. AJ is forcing it just a bit. But that's the defense of Michigan State. Travis Walton staying in front of him that time. The beat apparently was fouled.
Fouled by Ibach, his third. And Robinson returning for Connecticut. I'll put Price down.
Give him a chance to kind of maybe slow himself down just a little bit. He's forced a few shots here, and he's capable of making tough shots, but he's taking too many of those kind of shots here tonight.
Adrian. Got a piece of the hand. Green with his third. Thursday on Survivor, when the tribes merge, will one courageous castaway be forced to leave? It's an all-new Survivor, and it's Thursday on America's #1 network. This puts Adrian at the line now for 2. We got a pair of Spartans, actually 3 Spartans with 3 fouls. Ibach, Green, and Sutan. And Sutan continues to sit as they bring back Chris Allen. Walton out. UConn, it's been a struggle at the line. We talked about Kimball Walker 0 for 4. This team overall is 8 for 16.
They're not a strong free throw shooting team on the year, 68%. Adrian gets one to go there. But you're right, they've left an awful lot of loose change at that free throw line.
Morgan, open jumper. Tip by Thabit over to Adrian. Little switch off. Walker pulls up. Of Robinson into the cylinder and puts it back for the lead.
Boy, what a terrific rebound to the weak side. Good push here by Michigan State, though.
Knocked down Robinson. Plays at both ends. But Morgan got stuck under the cylinder. Here's Walker. Has a strip. Chases it back. Austri passes up the 3 and up ahead. It's Green.
How about that play by Raymar Morgan? That was a hockey assist. He didn't have control over it, but he just slapped it ahead to his teammate.
What else would you expect here in Hockey Town?
And the bench really delivering for Michigan State.
15 big ones led by Lucius. And Thabit, no. Battle for it, and it's Austri. Wide open. Out to Lucas. Lucas, Michigan State has the lead back at 51-49.
Young fella, look at Tom Izzo. What a terrific open court move by Kalen Lucas.
Adrian driving, lowering the shoulder, no call. Up ahead, the pass to Allen. Austri defending, and Allen gets it to go. Timeout, Connecticut. There's a little magic here at Ford Field. Michigan State's up by 4. This Michigan State team, it's really some story, isn't it? They were a 2 seed. They won the Big Ten regular season by 4 games, biggest margin in that conference since 1985. But again, this idea of being able to play close to home in such tough times here in the state. Tom Izzo talking about how we're hoping that we're the silver lining, hoping we're the sunshine for this state. And I'll tell you, this state right now is very much alive.
Without question.
Bathing in the sunshine at the moment with that 4-point lead. And UConn is down to 2 timeouts, 13 minutes to go.
And they need this guy here with the ball, A.J. Price, to get on top of his game. He's capable of igniting his team with his ability to get into the lane and knock down perimeter shots.
Robinson lost it, but that was because someone reached in. And the call... Well, that's Summers in his first. And Coach Izzo wants to talk a little bit about the way he was defending there.
Yeah, he wants him to cut him off before he gets into the lane so he doesn't have to reach in.
That was the 5th team foul on the Spartans in this half versus 2 so far on UConn. It's Gavin Edwards for Adrian.
You know, that's something to keep an eye on, Jim, the free throw situation. We've talked about UConn not cashing in. But still, when you get a chance when you're on the bottom side of the scoreboard to close the gap at the foul line, it can take its toll on the opponent.
Stanley Robinson delivers 2. Shooting 64% this half. Here is Lucius for the first time in the half. Puts up the shot. Cleared by Robinson. It's Kataya. No, it's knocked down, but retrieved by Edwards.
Michigan State really doing a good job shutting off Kemba Walker here tonight.
Too strong by the Robinson, and Summers out with it. Got a 3-on-2. Inside row, and Robinson rejects. Open shot. Yes. Draymond Green.
You look at him and you look at his body and you say, this guy's a basketball player, Draymond Green, but he's had an outstanding tournament. He's got tremendous savvy, a high IQ, and he's got a nice 15 to 17-foot jump shot that he showed you right there.
Just a freshman, originally signed with Kentucky, but got out of that when Tubby Smith left to go to Minnesota.
And his body belies his ability as a round baller.
Loose ball chased by the Huskies, but they were on the end line, so it'll be Michigan State possession coming out of the break. That's the 10th turnover committed by Connecticut.
You take a look at what's going on here. Michigan State winning the bench points and fast break points. That's why they're shooting over 50% here in the second half.
There's Coach Calhoun with all kinds of allegations swirling regarding recruiting violations, and he's been mum on it here. He's been told by the NCAAs not to comment on it. Yet there have been a few folks out there in the media who have tried to, well, draw conclusions off his silence.
Exactly, and that's not the case.
Which is just ridiculous, because this is a man, if you look at really his dossier through his career, it is a pretty clean dossier.
Oh, it's a clean dossier, and he's built this program to national prominence from nowhere. A job to be respected and admired, and the review continues from the NCAA, and after it runs its course, he feels as though that they'll be clean as they've always been.
This is Robinson able to hold on to it, get it over to Walker, and that's a blocked foul against Michigan State's Walton.
Good sportsmanship there. You see Kemba Walker pulling Travis Walton up. Good hard effort. Push ahead by Robinson, and that's a good call. You can't slide into an airborne offensive player. Walton made an effort to get there, but really no chance.
All right, 0 for 4 at the line is Kemba Walker.
You wondered how the young freshman, as you see Walton with his third foul, would handle this stage. He's an outstanding player and has a tremendous future, but has really struggled here on this stage tonight.
Suton back on the floor with the 3 fouls.
UConn has to find somebody, Jim, that's going to knock down a couple of perimeter shots for them. I know they want to go inside. They've been effective in going inside. But Michigan State is starting to belly up a little better in the paint area. Craig Austrie has to maybe knock down a perimeter shot. A.J. Price has to be able to knock down one. They've got to find somebody, I think, going forward to knock down some key perimeter shots. But they're going to come back and try to win this game.
So while Michigan State returns Suton with the 3 fouls, they sit Walton, who becomes the 4th Spartan, saddled with 3. Lucas. Ball bounces into the arms of Fabit. Adrian wanted to challenge Suton, and Suton able to draw the charge.
And that
was a crucial call right there for the Michigan State side.
I was about to make that point, Jim, because he does have 3 fouls. Let's see, he moves his feet. Excellent. He took it right in the chest. Slide, shuffle, slide. And there's number 4 right into the middle of Suton's chest. Adrian didn't like it, but it was the right call. Jim Calhoun didn't care for it either.
Connecticut's made only 2 field goals over the last 8 minutes and have misfired on 11 of the last 13 shots. Michigan State knocked out a Big East team in the regional final last week. Trying to eliminate another one today. This is Summers. He can shoot the shot and does. It's a 3 for a 6-point lead. First 3 of the half.
And that's the 15th 3 attempted by Michigan State. They averaged 14 three-point field goal attempts a game and took 14 in the first half here tonight.
The beat. And Sutan able to run it over. Up ahead to Rowe, and that was last touch by the freshman. So it was Lucas to Rowe, sophomore to freshman. And interestingly, this Final Four, you look at the 20 starters going to be on the floor today, and the only 2 underclassmen were involved in that one. Lucas, a sophomore, the only sophomore starting here, and Rowe, the only freshman starting in the Final Four. The rest, juniors and seniors.
You haven't said that much recently.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
10 seniors, 8 juniors. From behind, it's Lucas knocking it out. Second half scoring from Michigan State. What have you seen?
Well, I've seen fast break opportunities. Even after made baskets, they've been able to get out and attack in the open court. That's an early offensive opportunity for Draymond Green. We talked about it throughout the first half. Pace of play, pushing that ball ahead, very important for Michigan State. And they've been able to do it effectively. And they've made just enough threes to have this lead.
The beat on the bench, and Edwards able to give them a valuable bucket off the bench. With the beat down, their first field goal in a 5-minute, 8-second stretch.
Michigan State has a lot of set plays in its half-court arsenal, Jim. And we talked to Coach Calhoun. He talked about they were going to be really challenged to effectively defend all of them. And then they can't get the defensive rebound after they miss a 4 shot. That's been a major story here today. That's the 13th offensive rebound for Michigan State here tonight.
Well, this is the team that's #1 in the country in rebounding margin. Showing why. Lucas outside. Step back for the 3. Sutan. Put back Morgan. Oh, he missed a chippy. That was their 14th offensive rebound. And then the foul call against the Spartans. That was on Morgan. Number 3 on Raymar Morgan. Tuesday on CBS, it's a Hollywood whodunit with a cast full of characters. Don't miss TV's #1 news show. It's The Mentalist. A new episode coming up Tuesday on America's Most Watched Network. So, team foul number 7 against Michigan State. And this will bring Adrian to the line 1-1.
I'm going to track what happens going forward in the free throw game. That's the front end of a 1-and-1 miss by Adrian, and then a foul by Connecticut.
Edwards on the back. Team foul number 4. First on Edwards. Jim Calhoun, who has never lost a Final Four game. He's 4-0. Only Branch McCracken could ever lay claim to that. The Indiana coach who won the championship 1940 and 1953. Those are the only 2 ever to be 4-0 in a Final Four.
There you see the free throw shooting, and a number of those for Connecticut. The front end of 1-and-1s, as we just saw there from Jeff Adrian.
Might add, that's not 4 championships. That's 2 semifinal wins and 2 title wins. But if he was to win it on Monday night, he'd be the oldest coach to ever win the title. By a few months older than Fog Allen of 52 at Kansas. Now, Michigan State. Morgan gives it up. Sutan, he likes this one. Open baseline, no. And there's Green, and Price reached in, held his arm.
Well, that's been the story of the game, Jim.
And they say it was in the act of shooting.
If Michigan State is going to hold on and win this, it's going to be because of the way they were able to match the physicality of UConn's front line and win the battle on the glass.
Well, the foul situation, 5 state players with 3, and a pair on the UConn side, Walker and Robinson, with 8:14 to go. 2 shots. It's a 15 foul against Connecticut. Draymond Green out of Saginaw, Michigan, another one of the homegrown kids for the Spartans. Well, he's lost some weight too, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, they call him the Dancing Bear because of his body and his happy, active feet. And he's been very productive here in the tournament.
Price. Put back, no tip, no.
There he is, the Dancing Bear, pulling down a rebound.
The Dancing Bear has all 6 of his points in this half. Gonna put up the jumper.
Oh! Go to work! Make music, young fella!
That's the biggest lead of the game for either side now. Michigan State by 8. The beat, Sutan forces the steal. 12th Connecticut turnover.
I made the point about needing to make perimeter shots. UConn now trying to force that ball inside, trying to shoehorn it into the paint, not even exploring opportunities to get dribble drives or perimeter shots. And Michigan State very active defensively on forcing turnovers as a result.
One more time. No. Rattles out. Tipped over. On the floor, Morgan. And Austria of Connecticut, but the arrow favors Michigan State. So 33% shooting in the half for the Huskies. Michigan State up 8 and possession when we come back. Nance with Clark Kellogg here at Ford Field, and Michigan State leads it by 8. And they have had a lot of second opportunities today, Clark.
You know what we call that? Chow time at the buffet line.
Chow time.
Seconds all day long for Michigan State. Boy, they've been terrific pursuing the ball. When you space the floor and you know where the shots are going to come from, guys can get to that offensive glass effectively.
Now look who's here. Tom Izzo was his understudy, Judd Heathcote, for years. Of course, Judd won that championship in '79 with not only Magic, but Greg Kelser. 30 years ago this year. They were a 2 seed then. It was the first year of the seeding process, and this is the first year since that they were a 2 seed. This is Sutan left open, and Sutan hits the big shot. They got a double-digit lead in this game for the first time for either side.
Jim, does this feel a little bit like what happened in Indianapolis for Michigan State last weekend?
Was it about this point? Yes, where they started to pull away from Louisville. The beat, though, has other ideas. Turns around and lays it in.
Yeah, he got great post position that time. Deep real estate right in front of the goal. But Michigan State in control here. The way they've executed, pounded the glass. It's been a low turnover game for the Spartans. And then they've made enough perimeter shots. We talked about that at the top. Executing and knocking down good shot opportunities.
Using most of the time on this possession. Lucas to Morgan. That was blocked by Robinson. Robinson's made some plays at that end.
Yeah, it's actually affected Connecticut because of the foul trouble he's been in. He's had to kind of play sporadically. But when he's been out there, he's had an impact at both ends.
Yeah, he's had 3 blocks. Oh, that pass. The beat trying to get it to Robinson. Morgan saw it coming. Summers comes in and takes it right over Robinson somehow.
Oh, my goodness! Oh, man!
The Ford Field is shaking.
Wow!
Walker, that's a foul call against the Spartans. Called on Lucas.
Darrell Summers, after the turnover, gonna size it up, backing down, and punch it on him. Wow, and that was Stanley Robinson. 6, got pogoed right there. Boom! Oh, he got a piece of that, and it was that strength.
Still just powered it down.
He should. Wow, what a play.
With the fast break points and advantage of the Spartans, it also goes green with bench points, plus 23 advantage.
Well, it's been a case of Michigan State playing to its strengths. UConn has tried to do that by going inside, but when you talk bench play and fast break play, it's all Michigan State here tonight.
It's 1-1 for Walker. And he's now missed 6 free throws in 7 attempts, but back to the beat. Slides off the rim. Walker saves it. Pass deflected, and Summers again, talk about pogo stick, climbs up the ladder and comes down with it.
He's perhaps the best athlete on this Michigan State team, and the last 2 plays showed you why.
Team foul number 6 against Connecticut. Second call against Adrian tonight.
Boy, you sense Connecticut just panicking a little bit, Jim. They just have to continue to grind, make sure they take care of the ball, get good shots. I'd expect A.J. Price to try to pick it up from an offensive standpoint.
Price with only 1 basket in this half. Now Walton. He's a compulsive film watcher. They say he'll watch as much as the coaches.
That's a lot, then. That's a bunch.
Summers gives it up. And Adrian reaches in. It'll set up 2 at the line. 3rd foul against Adrian. Team foul number 7.
Jim, this is exactly where Connecticut did not want to be. Trailing against a team that runs its half-court sets as well or better than any team in college basketball. The movement, the screening, the ball faking, all of what makes you effective in the half-court, Michigan State does.
Let's put that last foul now in the column against Thabit, his 2nd, and not on Green. So Green and, not on Adrian. So Adrian with 2, Thabit with 2. One more here, Green. Missed them both. Tipped up Sutan. Tipped again over to Price, who's 4 out of 15 for the game. Must mount the big rally now with 5 minutes to go.
How about that?
That bench fueled by Green in this half and Lucius in the first half. Summers as well. Price. Foul call on Michigan State.
Well, I thought they were going to call a held ball there. Draymond Green felt the same way.
That's his 4th on Green.
Let's take a peek. Boy, he got a lot of that pumpkin. Then he got his arm tied up. There it is. There he is. He got the arm tied up in there. Boy, he gets a workout.
1-1 coming up for A.J. Price.
Price only a 71% free thrower.
Well, you think he and his dad, Tony, this whole idea of getting to the Final Four and then having to hook up against Michigan State.
How ironic.
His dad took Penn to the Final Four in that 79 championship year for the Spartans, and Penn, Michigan State met there in Salt Lake City on that Saturday. His dad led Penn in scoring with 18. Now, 30 years later, his son, as a senior, faces the same program.
Yeah. And they've got work to do if they're going to advance to Monday. Still plenty of time, though. Plenty of time, and this team is good enough defensively to get stops, and then they've got to execute at the other end. A lot of ball movement, a lot of screens, and cutting action by Michigan State.
Lucas out of there by Thabit. His 2nd block of the night. And Price will go right back to the line after hitting a pair. Well, that was call against Summers.
That was a determined take there by A.J. Price, Jeff. He made up his mind he was going to get something positive done and did just that.
Number 2 on Summers. Well, he's got the stroke now. He's hit 3 here in the last minute. Young man who was quite an adventure in his career, including having to deal with a brain hemorrhage his freshman year. And a torn ACL in the first round of last year's NCAA tournament. Just 9 minutes into an opening round game against San Diego, the Toreros took him out round 1. Now Michigan State trying to take him out of the 2009 tournament. 4 minutes left. Down to 6. Lucas makes it 9. Adrian. Robinson skies. No foul on the way up. Calhoun can't believe there was no call there. Summers. Ball there. Robinson. Stanley Robinson. Walton's the one who forced that one. Up ahead, Morgan has a dunk moment. Timeout, Connecticut. Timeout, UConn. Michigan State up 11. UConn with 1 timeout left, and now it's starting to get a little desperate on the Huskies side with 3:18 to go. What happened to this whole last wild scramble?
Well, Michigan State, I thought, made 2 really good defensive plays at the basket, getting clean strips on the ball, and then had runouts. Actually, the big 3 by Lucas was in the half court, but then on the back side of that was a run out after a pretty good defensive play from my vantage point. Stanley Robinson was the guy who drove it, had it taken away, and then an easy dunk for Raymond Morgan.
Price.
Well, he's just not finding much room. Tough shot.
And that is Rowe rebounding it for Michigan State. Now Lucas. Back of the rim, and again it's Rowe. 2 straight rebounds. Step up to Walton. This time it's Price snagging it for the Huskies. Robinson taking it to the hole. Good night. Stanley Robinson.
Forget about that.
Lucky he didn't hit his head on the rim.
Yeah, he made sure he took good care of the ball and protected it that time on the drive.
And almost came up with a theft. Timeout called by Michigan State. Well, I don't know where you folks live out there. I know spring is in the air, but it's summertime at the moment at Ford Field. Jim Nance and Clark Kellogg back here at Ford Field with just 2:22 to go. 71-62 Michigan State. Lupe Izzo.
That clock can't move fast enough for the Spartan players, coaches, and fans.
Bounce it. Summers. Got it.
How about that execution?
Sultan with the assist.
Emptied the backside, got it right to the middle of the court. Back cut, bounce pass, layup.
Summers with all 7 of his points tonight coming in the second half, including that spectacular dunk.
The defense on Price has really been solid. He has not gotten many good looks tonight.
The beat. Fouled on the way in, so he'll shoot a pair. Another break in the action. 1:54 left here. This game was tied at 49 with 14 minutes left, but Michigan State's on a 24-13 tear. Coming out of the break here, Clark, with Thabit at the line to shoot 2, and how can UConn come back, make up 11 points here with less than 2 minutes?
Well, they've got to knock down these free throws so they can get into some full court pressure. They've got to turn Michigan State over, and then I think they've got to make a couple of threes, Jim. They've not looked at the three-point shot at all. They don't shoot a lot of threes on average, about 14 or 15 attempts per game, but they've not come anywhere close to looking at it that much tonight. They've only attempted 5 for the ball game and only 2 in this second half. They've really been committed to trying to throw that ball inside. Interesting look there from up above, and you can see that one was short and left by Thabit.
Again, Thabit's mother came over a week ago and saw the West Regionals in from Tanzania, and her son gets the second one. Makes it a 10-point margin, 154, and the full court pressure on the way.
Here it is now. Michigan State has to space the floor, try to get that ball to the middle in the hands of Lucas, and then let him be your press breaker. There you go.
Green able to snag that one, but Walker with the hands. And Green with the foul, and he slams the floor in disgust.
Yeah, he picked it up in a bad place, Jim. You don't want to pick it up at the half-court line along the sideline.
That's going to be the 5th one on Green, knocking him out of the game. Villanova and North Carolina coming up. That Villanova team, very well, maybe, unless UConn mounts a incredible rally here, will be the last of the Big East team standing. So Green indeed fouls out, but some valuable minutes for the Dancing Bear.
He'll be officially listed as Dairy Queen, but boy, while he was out there, the Dancing Bear made some nice music for the Spartans.
2 shots for Walker. Green had all 8 of his points in this half. And now Walker, would that make 2 of 8 from the line?
They need this one so they can get into the full court pressure.
Gets it. Chance to set it up.
Gavin Edwards with his length can be distracting, defending the ball. Good corner trap. Well done by UConn.
Yep, they forced a timeout call by Walton. So it's down to 8. 1:42 to go here at Ford Field. Michigan State now has 2 timeouts in the pocket. UConn commits a foul. It'll be a 1-on-1 still at the other end.
Well, if you're Michigan State here, Jim, you want to try to get this ball out of the corner. You don't want to throw it into the corner. So you got to set a solid screen. Try to get that ball in the middle of the court. He cannot move. He's got to be stationary. There you go. Now get to the middle.
And Lucas dead center. Swings it over right side and reach in Price, and it's off the leg of Summers, I believe. It is. Back to UConn.
Darrell Summers casual. Look at Tom Izzo.
Wow.
The passion and the intensity. The caring and the coaching going on. See, he's casual here. He had a guy wide open, and then he got a little casual, and A.J. Price did an outstanding job jumping into his chest when he took his eye off the ball.
Huge trip for the Huskies. It's Price taking it to the hole and bouncing it in off the backboard, plus a foul call against Michigan State.
Well, I love that play by Price. The beat is down, but just aggressively attacking the rim there. Not settling for any kind of perimeter jump shot.
His foul is on Suton, his 4th.
Look at him go hard to the hole. And there's the lower body root canal by Suton, trying to box out the beat. There you see it. Oh, tough fall and a tough play that time, but clearly Suton riding the beat out. And wow, this could be huge.
It was not the shooter who was fouled, as you said. It was Suton with that body and the hip, able to force the beat to the floor. And the beat is definitely not 100% here after that,
He fell hard on his tailbone.
And they're going to try to stretch him out.
Yeah, they're going to try to stretch him out. But because the beat is sitting, then whoever is going to be Craig Austrie, the best free throw shooter. Calhoun could elect to have Austrie shoot the free throws here.
Again, the basket counted by Price,
right.
And because it was not the shooter, this is going to be a 2-shot situation here because of the double bonus.
Yep.
Austrie, who did not miss last week at the regionals, was 10 for 10 at the line. Rattles home the first. This was just a huge moment. The casual turnover at the other end, and Price taking it. Well, basket counts, and there's the foul on Suton.
Yep, after the basket had gone down. And then the double bonus.
Austria senior.
And an 81% free throw shooter.
That is now 7 unanswered by the Huskies in less than a minute.
Boy, the script has really flipped here. The full court pressure. We talked about the free throw advantage. UConn had not taken advantage of that, Jim, until just recently. Knocking down the free throws, which has allowed the Huskies to get into the full court press.
They made up 7 points in 49 seconds. Now Suton, and they bring it back outside. Huskies have made it a game, though.
Boy, I don't think you want to foul there, Jim. You want to play defense if you're Connecticut. I think it was Kemba Walker who stands.
His 3rd.
No reason to foul there. I mean, plenty of time. You've got Michigan State on the ropes. They've struggled against your pressure, and then you give them a chance to make it a 2-possession game at the foul line.
And they can't put the big man back on the floor. The beat's still in pain. 1-1 here for Lucas, who was 17 of 18 in the tournament.
Well, you know, with this pressing type of attack that UConn is going to play the rest of the way, you'd love to have the beat out there, but it's not all bad. You've got a smaller, quicker lineup on the floor. You've got A.J. Price who can attack the rim. You got Robinson up front.
Oh, and they got 1 of 2.
So this can be an effective lineup for UConn.
Price finds another seam. It's a one-possession game. Man open up ahead. Summers going to go ahead and take it in, and he's fouled, and the basket counts.
Excellent job of attacking by Michigan State, but a poor job by UConn to get back. Stanley Robinson. And then a good alert play by Raymond Morgan. And the foul on Kemba Walker, who was late getting back. A.J. Price drove the ball to the goal. That means one of the other guards has to be back for defensive floor balance. Kemba Walker got caught in no man's land, and Michigan State made him pay.
Fourth on Walker. Now for the completion, three-point play, yes. Huge half by Summers. 6-point lead with 1 minute.
You don't have to get a three here. Try to drive it hard.
Walker. No, and it's Summers with the rebound. And it's all Michigan State up ahead. So Lucas says, I'll go ahead and think about it and bring it back out. It's Austria on the foul. It'll be double bonus. That's the 10th against Connecticut. I know there was some urgency going down to that end of the floor, but Walker may have gotten away with the travel at first, and that was just a wild shot.
Yeah. Well, he's had a tough day, Jim. The freshman, who was terrific in the regional final, has found the going much tougher here today.
2 shots for Lucas. And he's missed 2 straight. Now here comes the beat.
He's going to replace who?
Adrian.
Yeah, you want to keep Kemba Walker's speed on the floor, even though he has struggled. He's capable of getting to the rim quickly.
Usually so reliable. Missed his last 2. Trying to make it a 3-possession game, and he does. A.J. Price had a little talking to Kemba Walker. He wants it. Here he goes. And pulled down by Morgan. And they're going back to the line after a Connecticut foul.
The Connecticut bench thought A.J. Price got fouled, but another tough shot attempt and incidental contact, if any. And now it's a matter of just cashing in from the stripe for Michigan State.
What a run by Michigan State. You think about it, they defeat in the Sweet 16 the national champions of a year ago, and they had to come back from 13 to do it when they beat Kansas last week. Then they beat the #1 overall seed of the tournament, Louisville. Now trying to beat another #1 seed here today. In fact, in their history, they only had 2 victories in the tournament over #1 seeds. One was Indiana State and Larry Bird. Now they could have 2 in a week. Second one goes also for Morgan. Austria finds an opening, gets the basket. Timeout, Connecticut. Its last timeout. Must make up 7 in 30 seconds. Tom Izzo won the national championship April the 3rd, 2000, 9 years ago yesterday. He's had his team back to the Final Four in 01, lost in the semifinal in this spot right here. A decisive loss it was to Arizona, and then again in 05, and lost in that spot also. Did not get back to a championship game in the other 2 trips since the championship, but they're so close right now to taking this Spartan team and the whole state with them in the Monday night. Can you imagine? There's been such a buzz here. We've been here almost all week, Clark.
Wow.
Can you believe what it's meant to the folks, the great citizens of Michigan?
I can't put it into words, Jim. The electricity, the excitement, the injection of a silver lining and sunshine, and now they have to get the ball in bounds, be strong with it, and then make free throws.
Suton doubled up and able to squeeze past Edwards. Reach in, Edwards does get the steal. Walker driving in, and it rattles out. Missed the chippy. Up ahead to Lucas. 15 seconds, and he's fouled by Price.
Boy, you can't help but feel for Kemba Walker. It's going to be part of the young man's fabric for growth. The struggles he had today, and there you see Jeff Adrian has seen Thabit.
Thabit, who came to Connecticut with limited basketball background, had played a year of ball down in Houston, lived with a family, the jury's down there. That Houston area been so good to Coach Calhoun with Jake Voskuhl over in Katy and Emeka Okafor from Bel Air right there in the Houston area. Now Lucas to shoot 2. And he told Thabit when he got him, all I'm trying to do is help you become a millionaire and win a national championship. And it looks like the second part of that's not going to happen.
One of 2 is assured, I think.
Jim Calhoun had never lost on a Final Four stage before today. 14 seconds before it's official. Well, all you got to do is look into the eyes of Coach Calhoun's granddaughter. We've got 6 grandchildren here. Papa. They were racing around him yesterday when
Papa,
we met him.
Papa. Papa, yeah.
And he said, you know, with all the things that people have been talking about, negative about his program, and those will be settled later on, and I think he feels it's going to be a positive outcome. Yep. It says it all comes down, gets into perspective when I'm surrounded by this group. But what a late performance by Michigan State, like it did against Louisville. Price, no. Summers, rebound. What momentum will carry into Monday night. They've got the Mo right now. Going into the championship game, Michigan State advances. $72,456 people, an all-time Final Four record, witnessing Michigan State advancing to the national championship game. They will be here Monday night.